Hey guys, just want to bring you new information in the Shanquella Robinson case. Y'all, this is deep. Sit down. Shanquella Robinson's attorneys are basically accusing the FBI of a cover up. That's right, a cover up. Now, there's been a lot going on since the FBI basically said, we don't know what's happening. If you guys don't know, there was an autopsy conducted by the FBI on Shanquella Robinson. We know in Mexico, right? And I had a lot of criticisms about Mexico. And it's so disappointing that our own government did even less. But in Mexico, they did an autopsy, laceration, which is an internal decapitation. You guys know that. That's what brought us here. Last time we saw, Daejhanae was squaring up with Shanquella. Everybody was watching like it was Fight Club. We said the whole lot needs to be held accountable, but Daejhanae definitely, let's get it going. Mexico issued a warrant for Daejhanae, and they kept saying that they were waiting for America, but America was slowing things down. Well, you guys, the government came out and said, if you don't know, listen, we don't see any reason to press charges. But here's the interesting thing. The reason they didn't see any reason pressing charges is because they could not conclude how she died. Now, this was shocking to a lot of people because most people are like, what do you mean you can't conclude how she died? Like, we see that she obviously didn't die of natural causes. We see the last time that we see her alive, she wasn't scoring up, but Daejhanae was being vicious, like a wild animal going off on her, right? Speaking of which, we're going to get into what the attorney said about the cover up, but Daejhanae Jackson, Winter Donovan, and Alyssa Hyatt were actually at some club in North Carolina on the street celebrating people's graduations like things were sweet. You guys, if you saw my video, they got jumped, right? Daejhanae and I believe Alyssa ran. There was a girl named Joya who was hanging out with them. Why would you hang out with these people? Even if you don't believe that they're responsible for Shanquella's death, you saw the way that they handled it. Why would you hang out with those people? Seriously, right? Anyway, this girl named Joya was hanging out with 3 of the Cabo 6. Joya is the one that got jumped, almost stomped, right? Daejhanae got like pushed up too. And Daejhanae and Alyssa, true to form, ran and left Joya to get dragged and beat behind a car. Listen, I'm not saying she deserved it. I am saying, what were you doing hanging around these people? You're lucky that's all that happened to you. You're lucky Daejhanae didn't give you the special into whatever weird things it looks like they're into, based off of my opinion. But you know what the funny thing is? You know Daejhanae is the one that started that fight? Y'all know that, right? Daejhanae started the fight. You just got away with what you did with Shanquella, and you start a fight. She's the one that turned up with those girls, got gully on those girls, approached her and started the fight. Y'all, at this point, Daejhanae is giving George Zimmerman vibes. I mean it. She's giving George Zimmerman vibes. She really is. You got away, and now you walking around like a vicious animal attacking people on the street? Because people have the nerve to question what happened with you, and you're getting gully with people. It's giving me George Zimmerman vibes. And it's giving me the government needs to do what they can to get you off the street because it ain't safe. It's not safe. It is not safe until we find out who's responsible and what happened. And judging by what the concierge and everybody says, I don't know, but we'll get back to that, right? This is how her attorney is accusing the FBI of a cover up. Now, just to give you guys a little bit backstory, right? This is the streets talking at this point. Not what the attorney has to say, but just listen. There were rumors that Alyssa Hyatt's family was very, very well connected. Her father, friends with the governor, friends with this, with that. The Charlotte, North Carolina FBI, North Carolina FBI were like, oh, it's not that they didn't find evidence. They said that they don't know how she died, which is the whole point of the autopsy. What you mean you don't know how somebody died? That's the point of an autopsy. And they just left it at that. So Shanquella's lawyer said, well, if you don't know how it happened, give us the autopsy because we still see pathways to justice. The FBI was like, no, no, no. You know, if you bring us more information, we'll be happy to prosecute. So the lawyer said, well, give us the autopsy so we can look it over, really see everything because it's not sitting right with our souls. Listen, Here is what they said. They said, when it was announced in April 2023 that the FBI office in North Carolina, where Shanquella was from, declined to press charges against the alleged aggressor in the woman's death, we are saying it's been leaked that the alleged aggressor is Daejhanae Jackson. They said, meanwhile, U.S. authorities conducted their autopsy once Shanquella's body was embalmed, which Attorney Robinson said compromised the investigation. They're saying that from the gate, the FBI knew that conducting an autopsy on an embalmed body was going to get an inconclusive result. And if you have an inconclusive result for death, well, then charges can't be filed. Now, I'm not saying that maybe the rumors about Alyssa Hyatt and all those people being very well connected and making this go away are true. I am saying at this point, even the lawyer looks like she's saying she wouldn't be surprised if we found out they did. Get this. Attorney Robinson, okay, Sue Ann Robinson, she's not related, but they have the same last name, spoke exclusively to provide updates on the case. They said the FBI says we cannot release the document case files to you because the case is still open. If you guys didn't know, the FBI is refusing to give any materials, even the autopsy. They said because this case is still open, because we're waiting for documents to be translated to English that were received from the Mexican authorities, which again, and this is Shanquella's lawyer, is a red flag everywhere because you made the decision in the case. You announced the decision publicly to the family and to the public. And we're saying the case is still not closed and admitting that some of the documents from the investigative file that arguably would affect your decision to charge have not been fully translated. She said the family is so deeply disappointed. She goes on to say they're concerned obviously about the red flags and lack of transparency in the investigation, but they're not deterred. They reached out to the FBI for comment. The FBI would not go on record and comment. All they said is, as with any case, the government is prepared to review and examine new information related to the investigation should it become available. Now, Sue Ann shared that Shanquella's family is planning to return to Washington, D.C. on May 19th, what will mark the 200 days since her unfortunate passing away. There, the team of lawyers and family members will demand diplomatic intervention, saying there should be a level of urgency, a level of prioritization by the U.S. authorities that just isn't there yet. We all saw, excuse me, we all saw what happened on the video, and we're demanding that U.S. authorities step in and prioritize the case and allow the extradition process to flow, allow Mexican authorities to prosecute the person they've identified as the aggressor in Mexico courts. Despite the setback, the family is not giving up. They said, we're still encouraging and grateful for all the platforms that are still saying Shanquella's name and not giving up on the case because we're not giving up on it. You guys, let's go back to what she said because this is real. She is accusing the FBI of not only a cover-up, basically, but gross negligence. And wondering how, if you're saying the key documents that went into your decision haven't even been translated to English, how did you make this decision? Again, let's go over this. Red flags everywhere because you made a decision on the case. So y'all said it's done, it's over. You announced the decision publicly to the family and you announced it to the public. And when the family said, can we get a copy of that autopsy that you're saying didn't turn out right? Because we want to see who did the autopsy. We want to see how it was done. We want to see if it was done thoroughly. You mind passing that over, Chief? And they looked at the family and said, no, sorry, the investigation's not complete. But you made your decision. You announced it to the family. You announced it to the world. And now you're saying that the documents you needed to make that decision aren't translated? Now you're saying that the autopsy report, you're slow walking, giving the family a copy of the autopsy report? You're saying the case is still not closed and admitting that some of the documents from the investigation file that literally should have gone into your decision aren't even translated. Y'all, I'm not saying there's a cover up. I'm not saying something funny is going on with the FBI. Why won't they give the family a copy of the autopsy? You already announced it. You said you're not doing anything, and you said the autopsy showed nothing. So why can't the family have a copy of the autopsy? What exactly are you trying to hide? Who exactly are you trying to hide? How did you make a decision? I want to know. How did you make a decision? But none of the documents were translated. Y'all, listen. The family is fighting for justice. If you are going to be in the Washington, D.C. area on May 19th, 2023, please go and join them. They are going on a fact-finding mission. They are doing everything they can. Sue and Robinson and Ben Crump are ringing every bell they can. But at the end of the day, they 100% need your help. You guys, this is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. It is shameful. It is pathetic. It is disgusting that Shanquella still can't get any justice. And now the FBI, our own country, the people that promise us justice, are holding off on giving necessary documentation to the lawyers to support their claims that they can't find the cause of death with Shanquella. Y'all, listen. I know the Idaho murders, I know those were solved really quickly. I know they literally had a half-eaten pack of bubble gum and like a half shard of glass from a dog. So I don't know how they found that guy, but he's going down. And Shanquella, you got all this stuff. They botched the autopsy and they don't even want to give copies of the autopsy. Y'all, listen. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. I'll talk to y'all later. But again, we're not letting this go on the channel. Justice will be done. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.